Hello and welcome to another episode of For the Glory, an athlete empowerment production series brought to you by the Wattle Nest. My name is Rachel Condos Fields and I am excited to introduce you to some of Australia's great sporting talent as we share their stories, celebrate their success and embrace the power of sport as a true connector within our community. Joining me today is our beautiful co-host and Australian track and field athlete, Nana Awasu.
Hey, thank you for having me, Rachel. How are you today?
Very well. Feeling a bit left out because we keep seeming to have your friends on the show, and we've got another friend today for you. Lizette Cabrera, welcome to our tennis player, Lizette.
Hi guys, how are you?
Really well. You're dialing in from training today. Tell us a little bit about your setup there. We can see it through the window.
Yeah, so I actually train full-time at the National Academy here in Brisbane. It's located at the Pat Rafter Arena, which is behind me. And yeah, I'm just in a small little quiet room.
While we're talking about training, what does a week of training look like in your world, Liz?
Yeah, so I train from Monday to Saturday, and it ranges from, 2 on-court sessions. I could go for like 2 hours or an hour and a half, and then some gym in the afternoon, and then some off-court conditioning, which could be like running or on the bike. And then Sundays is usually like my day off.
And can you explain to everybody watching at home who can't quite figure out how the rankings work in tennis? Can you explain to us the logic behind it?
Yeah, so pretty much every year you're always defending the year before, and the goal is kind of to be top 100, because if you're in the top 100, you get direct entry into the 4 Grand Slams of the year. So Australian Open, Wimbledon, French Open and US Open. And that's the most important times of the year because obviously there's the most ranking points, but also the most amount of money. And as tennis is self-funded, it is kind of the best opportunity for us to help fund our sport. So yeah, that's kind of how the rankings work.
You're talking about the ranking system, and with the summer of tennis coming along, how are you preparing to make the Australian Open?
Yeah, so I'll be in the qualifying, hopefully, and I have to win 3 rounds to get into the main draw. But there's also, Tennis Australia does award wildcards, and they will be announced kind of the end of the year. But for the moment, we all kind of prepare like we're in the qualifying, and then, yeah, whatever we get is a bonus. But yeah, my goal is to win 3 matches to be in the main draw.
How does the wildcard system work?
So pretty much each Grand Slam has a certain amount of wildcards that they can give out. And we have a few that Tennis Australia has saved, and they kind of decide kind of who's performing the best, kind of who's ranked highest, who's kind of in form. And yeah, they kind of decide who they want the wildcard to go to.
And Lizette, if we can go right back to the beginning, tell us how you got into tennis and the journey thus far.
Yeah, my parents love tennis so much. And I think I was so young, and my dad said, oh, she's going to do something big with like a racket in her hand. So they kind of knew even before I was walking that I was going to play. And yeah, as soon as they put a racket in my hand, I loved it. And yeah, ever since then, it's kind of all I've wanted to do. So yeah, I'm really lucky that I've been able to find a passion that's also my job. And yeah, I really love tennis. So. Yeah.
And with it, like all true loves, there's a lot of sacrifices and things made along the way. Can you tell us a little bit about, the funding model for tennis, the barriers, the sacrifice that not just you, but your family have gone through?
Yeah, tennis is so expensive, and because it is an individual sport, my parents had to fund pretty much everything, and they made a big sacrifice for me to move to Brisbane to train full-time at the National Academy. And Tennis Australia has been really helpful with funding and stuff like that. But the older you get, you kind of want to fund yourself. So I'm always sacrificing and making sure that I'm not trying to eat out too much and meal prep. And then also when I'm on the road, sharing rooms with fellow players to save money, and kind of trying to look at sponsorship deals as well. Because I think when people look at tennis, they look at like the glam side of it, like, the Serena Williams and like the private jets and stuff. But for someone in my position at this ranking right now, it actually is quite a lot harder to make money. So I always make sure that I'm trying to save in a way that is always best for my tennis. So
I know you talked a little bit about your mum and dad and the support network around you, and I know you're fortunate enough to have some good mentors in your life, such as Sonia Byers from Governance by Design. But what does that support network look like, and how do they get you through?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate enough that my parents were so good to me and kind of put me and my tennis first, and that my sister and brother were very supportive of that, because I know growing up that maybe wasn't as easy for them. And yeah, they've just been such a great support system. I think any athlete can relate to making sure that you always have the right people around you and that want to see you succeed, but also they want you to be a good person. And my family does that for me. And I was also fortunate enough to meet Sonia through the Minerva Network, and she's been a great mentor as well. It's nice to connect with someone that's kind of outside of sport, and something that I'd like to network and kind of make sure I'm set up for when I am finished with tennis, that, it's not such a identity shock when I am done, and that I have created a good network that I can go to and do something outside of tennis.
And what resources are available to you, Lizette, in terms of recovery, nutrition, mental health, wellness?
Yeah, so Tennis Australia has been really good at setting up the academy with a nutritionist, a doctor, a psychologist, a physio. So we have access to all of this as players. And for me, like, my mental health is something that I really put on the forefront, and speaking to someone helps me a lot, as well as making sure I'm on top of my nutrition, because, I want to be making sure that I'm fueling myself with the best food possible so I can last out there on court. So yeah, really lucky to have access to those types of resources.
Tennis takes you around the world. Where is your favourite place to play?
That's such a hard question. I love traveling, but I don't know, there's something about Canada. I love Vancouver. It's so beautiful there, and it's got to be up there as one of my favorite places to play at. But also Paris. I mean, the Nutella crepes there when I'm out of the tournament are so good, and the croissants. So yeah, probably Paris.
Do you ever dabble in doubles, or you're just a single player?
Yeah, so I do both singles and doubles, but with the ranking as well, getting into certain tournaments, you have to be a certain ranking, but I try and play both as much as possible. But yeah, my main goal is singles, but obviously, I do play doubles as well on the road. But yeah, I play both.
Are you a superstitious person, Lizette? Do you do anything before each game that you have to do?
I used to be really superstitious, but it got to a point where I was like, I cannot be like this. Like, I had this one thing that everything had to go well in the morning, and it was going to be a good morning. So transport had to arrive on time. My eggs had to be a certain way. And then it got to a point where I went the opposite way, and I was like, a bad thing has to happen in the morning for it to be a good day. And then it got to a point where I'm just like, no, that's it. I just need to chill out. No superstition. So I kind of try and do things differently, so I don't think that one thing is working, like ordering the same meal the night before because I'm winning, or sitting at a certain table, or a lucky bra or top. I try and stay away from that and be a bit more chilled out.
Speaking about favourite meals, is there a meal that you just hang for once you finish a tournament?
Honestly, probably just a pizza. I try and eat pretty good, and then kind of, if at the end of the week I kind of reward myself, I'd definitely go for a pizza.
We might have to reach out to some pizza businesses. I feel like there's a sponsorship opportunity calling, Lizette.
What's your
Yeah,
ultimate
for sure.
goal at the end of your tennis career? When you look back at it, what do you want to say that you accomplished?
I want to look back and have no regrets. I want to say that I want to kind of leave a legacy behind, that I was someone that worked really hard, that never gave up, but also achieved a lot of things in sport. And that if I don't achieve certain things that I have set out to do, that I made sure I at least gave it my best. I think as athletes, we pride ourselves on reaching certain goals and, being really hard on ourselves. But I think if you do the little things right every day, and you kind of have no regrets, and you kind of sacrifice everything, that's the best thing that you can do as an athlete. And I definitely don't think I would be disappointed at the end of the day if I did that. So yeah, that would be my goal.
Lizette, before you go back to the training court, Nana would love to play a game with you. We call it the Fast Four. So she's going to fire 4 trivia questions at you. Ready?
All right, I've
Yep,
got some questions for you. My first one is, which is the last event in a decathlon?
Oh my God. Running, the hurdles.
You were close. It is a running event, but it's the 1500.
Okay, sorry.
So my next question is a soccer question. What is the record for the most red cards in one single soccer match?
10?
It's a bit higher than that. It's 36.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know if there were many players left on the court after that match.
Yeah, seriously.
My next one for you is, which team has the longest winning streak in the NBA?
Oh. Not the Celtics.
No, it's the LA Lakers.
I was going to say them. Why did I just back myself?
Back yourself next time. And my final question is, who is the first British player to win 4 league titles in 4 different countries? I'll give you a hint, he's a very popular British soccer player and retired.
David Beckham?
Yes.
Yes.
Well done, well done. Hey Lizette, unfortunately we've run out of time and I know that you've got to go and hit the courts. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today and all the very best of luck for the qualifying rounds and the season ahead.
Thank you so much, guys.
I know I'll be front row at the Australian Open cheering you on.
With me.
Yes, definitely with you.
That concludes this episode of For the Glory. Be sure to tune in next time as we discuss and share more stories from the professional athlete world. Until next time, thank you.